Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bad Bookers Wrestling Podcast. My name is Jack, and it's been a little while, hasn't it? I had a week off since the Roman news last week, where I didn't do the Raw review. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have a week off, and then Sunday came with Evolution, and I thought, yeah, I'm gonna do a review for Evolution because I thought it was a pretty decent show even, and forgot to do it. Completely went over my head and forgot to do it. I wasn't going to do a Raw review, to be fair. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to kick things off. Because if I don't do a Raw review, it'd be weird to start the week off doing a SmackDown review tomorrow. So I thought, you know what? Let's do one now. It's a bit later than normal. But what the hell? We'll start it off then at the top of the show with Brock Lesnar. Well, Baron Corbin even was in the ring with the Universal Belt and said it was a shame of what happened to Roman, but when he comes back, I hope he doesn't come back to Raw because he's been a pain in my ass all these months. Got the heel heat, fair enough, and then he got interrupted by Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. They did their shtick. They said, Paul Heyman said it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler that Brock Lesnar's going to take the Universal title over to UFC and become the first ever two-time champion, I think it was. And he then got interrupted by the monster among men, Braun Strowman, who confronted Lesnar. Corbin then decided he needed to break this up and got in the way of both men, touching Braun Strowman, who then proceeded to annihilate Corbin with 3 running power slams while Brock Lesnar was just standing there in the corner of the ring with the Universal title around his shoulder. And after the third one, Brock Lesnar thought, you know what, let's do this. F5 to Braun. So left him lying in the ring, walking out laughing, threw the Universal belt on him before holding it up. Remember that. And yeah, interesting start to the show. It was quite a mad one. I'm not gonna lie, I quite enjoyed this Raw. I thought it's been better than... There's been worse Raws. There's been worse Raws. But Brock Lesnar, not only did he have the belt on his shoulder, not only did he come out on top, he also lifted the belt up over his head, giving that visual. So on Friday at Crown Jewel, which is still in Saudi Arabia, I'll probably talk about that at the end of this video. That should mean everything's pointing to a Braun Strowman win, hopefully. Because Brock Lesnar doesn't need the belt, does he? He's fucking off. So, yeah. Next up, we had Finn Bálor and Bobby Lashley in a match, which Finn Bálor won via disqualification due to Lio Rush pushing him off the top rope after he was going to go for a coup de grace. And afterwards, Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush just tore into Finn Bálor. Lio Rush was slapping him about, while Lashley had him in submission holds, like the full Nelson or the Master Lock, if you remember that, and other submission moves. While, like I said, Lio Rush was just smacking him about, and ended it with Lio Rush picking up his phone, which was in his pocket, and told Lashley something and ran off backstage. Ended up going to see Baron Corbin in the medical centre as he was being treated after Braun Strowman demolished him, and Baron Corbin said, yeah, I'm pleased with what he did with Finn Bálor. He's been a pain in my ass for all these weeks as well. You're going to be put into the World Cup. And yeah, John Cena has fully refused not to go to Crown Jewel, which is fair enough by his part. And Bobby Lashley has replaced him in this World Cup. So fair play to John Cena for actually standing up to not wanting to go to Saudi Arabia. I don't think anyone will blame him whatsoever. It's a stupid idea. I was going to go into it at the end of the video, but I think probably do that now. It's a stupid idea how it's still in Saudi Arabia, but I can understand why they probably didn't back out, because it would probably have cost them more than being there. And it's just a difficult situation to be in. It's not one that I would ever want to be in, and it just seemed like they're in a stuck between a rock and a hard place, as they say. I can't see there being any more shows in Saudi Arabia, because they mentioned it on the financial report that they were going to Saudi Arabia, but they didn't mention this 10-year plan. And I think this will be a go in, quick show, kind of get out and don't go back kind of thing. I can understand why people are annoyed. I can understand why people won't watch it. I'll still watch it because I want to watch the wrestling. I want to watch every bit possible that I can. But it says a lot when you haven't mentioned it where it is for the past month, purely out of not fear, I guess, but you know what I mean. Every time they mention Crown Jewel, no matter who says it, the crowd boos wherever they are. It's just a really sad situation to be in, where a big powerhouse like WWE are kind of, you know, being taken hostage by Saudi Arabia, by a country. And because of all this has happened with the journalist being sadly killed, and we don't really know what's happening. Like us from the UK, we don't really get the full end of the full story kind of thing. But I'm guessing over in America, it's an absolutely devastating thing. It's the same things that happen to British journalists and whatnot. It's just a really awkward situation to be in. And like I said, it's a shame that they're doing it in Saudi Arabia. But I think it would have cost them more to do it. Yes, you could say, like, the dignity and whatnot of not going over there. Yeah, but at the end of the day, WWE is a business, and you have to weigh up the options. Is this going over there gonna, considering they haven't even mentioned where it is for the past month, are people gonna realise until they turn it on, oh, it's in bloody Saudi Arabia, this is, if they haven't read the news and whatnot, you know. You don't know, but hey ho, I'll be watching it, but I can fully understand why people won't watch it, because it's just a bit stupid, isn't it? But moving on, we had an Elias... Oh, no, we didn't. Skipping a match. We had a 10-women tag match between all the faces of Sasha Banks, Bayley, Natalya, Trish Stratus, and Lita as they defeated the Riott squad, Mickie James and Alicia Fox, with Alexa Bliss at ringside for them. Nothing much to mention in this match. Yeah, the faces won. Heels ran off scared. Yeah, nothing really to mention, which is a shame after Evolution, which was a decent pay-per-view. This was kind of just like a filler match, it seems, which was a shame. But oh well. Moving on, we had an Elias concert. The newly face Elias after last week. He decided he wasn't going to do a concert in the ring. He was going to go backstage and do a concert for Baron Corbin after demolishing him with the guitar last week. But before he finished the song off, but before he could laugh and joke and feel victorious, Jinder Mahal demolished him backstage. They then had the match in the ring, not backstage, where Elias did defeat Jinder Mahal. And I don't know what's going on. If this is a way to get Baron Corbin versus Elias feud, I would love that. I think that would be a fantastic feud. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with Kurt Angle. Is he coming back as GM fully? I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting to see. Next up, we had a triple threat tag match between Bobby Roode and Chad Gable as they defeated the AOP and the Ascension, which was interesting. Bobby Roode got the pin on Victor, I believe it was, of the Ascension. And then afterwards, AOP demolished everyone. And basically, it was both teams pinning up on AOP, trying to render them useless for the match, which eventually did happen because Bobby Roode picked up the win for the team, but AOP looked far dominant afterwards. And it's interesting to see what's going to happen with the Raw Tag Team division, because that's what came up next, with Seth Rollins demanding an explanation from Dean Ambrose. Neither of them had the tag team title belts on them. And it's just going to see, are they going to vacate the Raw tag team titles and have a massive tag team kind of thing at Survivor Series? Not too sure. Not too sure what's going to happen there. But Seth Rollins demanded an explanation from Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose, he came out, his music hit, but he came out via the crowd. And Seth was like, oh, last week you're mocking Roman, this week you're mocking the entire Shield. And Dean Ambrose did not say a word. It was about a 5-10 minute segment. He did not say a word. Seth Rollins said, right, if you're not going to come down here and explain yourself, I'm going to come up there and beat the living crap out of you. Seth Rollins jumped out the ring, and Dean just walked off back into the concourse bit where all the food stalls are. And Seth Rollins didn't chase after him. This feud's going to be excellent, I think. Dean and Seth always have good chemistry over their teaming or against each other. I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully they don't mess it up, but hopefully not. Next up, we had a match between Ember Moon and Nia Jax. Earlier on in the night, we had an interview with Nia Jax as they were talking about her winning the Battle Royale and going after Ronda Rousey's Raw Women's title. But they also brought in Ember Moon, who eliminated the most people in that Battle Royale. And Nia Jax was like, it's all well and good that you eliminated the most people, but I won. So interview me. Not in a heel way, but in like a jokey way, like, interview me, come on, I'm the best. And Ember was like, look, you brought me into Raw as a tag team partner. I respect you. Surely you can show a little bit of respect to me. And Nia said, yeah, I respect you, and I respect you by offering a match to you tonight. And Ember was like, yeah, great, let's do that. Nia Jax defeated Ember Moon after the distraction from Tamina. Both ladies were just standing in the ring as Tamina was walking down, but Nia took advantage, if you will, and hit it wasn't even a Samoa drop or anything, it was just a leg drop on Ember Moon, which I thought was a bit dodgy, bit squashing Ember Moon a little bit there. But afterwards, Tamina jumped in the ring, confronted Nia Jax, they just looked at each other. Then Tamina just smiled and walked off. So I don't know whether they're going to start being a team. Are they actually going to bring in women tag team titles and whatnot? Are Tamina and Nia going to be a tag team, or are they going to have a feud after Ronda Nia happens? Is Tamina going to cost Nia the title? Is Tamina going to help Nia win the title off Ronda? I don't know what's going to happen. But it's going to be... everyone knows I'm not the biggest Nia fan. I've not really been invested in her character at all. But it's always good to have Tamina getting some TV time after being injured. And Nia being in this non-feud tag team, we don't know yet. It's good to have a little bit of, well, what's going to happen, you know? Next up, we had a debut on Raw. Lucha House Party. They're on Raw now, apparently. They defeated the Revival, the jobber team of the Revival. Yeah, I get this feeling they're dismantling 205 Live by bringing Leo Rush, by bringing Lucha House Party. I just don't know what's happening. I just don't know. It's all a bit... Like, why would you bring up Lucha House Party? All three of them, Lindsay Dorado, Gran Metalik, and Kalisto, on the main roster. Kalisto obviously was before, and now he's back on there. And defeating the Revival. The Revival, we got jobber entrances, and it was like a 3-minute match. Lucha House Party won after the distraction. I don't know what's happening, but more tag teams, yeah, on Raw I can live with that. If they improve the tag team scene, I can live with that. I just fear for 205 Live and where it's going to go from here. But we'll have to wait and see. The main event match of the evening was Dolph Ziggler versus Apollo Crews. Yeah, that's what I thought as well when I saw it was main event. Dolph Ziggler was talking about his match because they released the brackets for the WWE World Cup earlier in the night as well. The matches are, I'm not looking this on the screen, I'm having to remember this. Dolph Ziggler versus Kurt Angle. Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley. Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton. And Jeff Hardy versus The Miz. I think I got that right. All in the quarterfinals of the World Cup in Saudi Arabia on Friday. And yeah, Dolph Ziggler did a promo where he was like, Kurt, come on mate, you're not Dolph Ziggler. And Drew was there at ringside as well. Obviously, Drew's not on the cards, which is a shame. But there's probably nowhere to fit him in. I can't see where you'd fit him in unless you stuck him in the World Cup. But who would you replace? Maybe you could have put Drew in there instead of Bobby Lashley, but I don't know. Dolph Ziggler defeated Apollo Crews Apollo he looked strong, to be fair. He had a lot of offense in, but Dolph Ziggler managed to pick up the victory with ease. And yeah, it kind of just ended like that. Just because it wasn't really a main event match. It didn't feel like a main event match. But it was the main event match because afterwards we had D-Generation X and the Brothers of Destruction. The Brothers of Destruction came out and did all their spiel about how they're going to bury them and how they have come calling and whatnot. And they've called DX out. DX music hit. Triple H came out, threw some glow sticks about, and was like, oh, where's Shawn? 1 minute, let me get Shawn Michaels. Went to there. Kane thought, you know what, I'm going to jump out the ring and just beat up Triple H. But before he could get there, Shawn Michaels appeared in the ring. Taker felt his presence, turned round. Michaels smacked him right in the chops with a sweet chin music. And then ran away. But then Undertaker sat back up and looked incredibly mad. And that was the main event. 5-10 minute segment between the Brothers of Destruction and GX to build this feud, I guess. I don't know what's going to happen after this. I kind of don't want to see any more after this, but I get this feeling they're definitely going to do a Taker versus Michaels match. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we? And that was Raw. Like I said, I thought it was a fairly decent Raw. Probably helped by the fact that the clocks went back in England and it started at midnight, which I loved. I love it when things go well and start at midnight and finish at 3 and you get to go to bed an hour early. It's like, oh yes, love it. Clocks go back in America on Sunday apparently. So it was a good week while it lasted, but SmackDown the same. NXT UK and NXT and 205 Live all an hour earlier. Love it. Absolutely love it. Can't wait. And to be fair, Crown Jewel an hour earlier. Perfect. Perfect in my eyes. But if you did like that, please leave a like on the video. If you are new around here or you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you tomorrow for SmackDown Live. Thank you.